Yeah.
The Russian Revolution.
Okay.
What was it based on? Land. The landless against the landlord. How did they bring it about? Bloodshed. You haven't got a revolution that doesn't involve bloodshed. And you're afraid to bleed. I said you're afraid to bleed. Long as the white man sent you to Korea, you bled. He sent you to Germany, you bled. He sent you to the South Pacific to fight the Japanese, you bled. You bleed for white people. But when it comes time to seeing your own churches being bombed and little black girls murdered, you haven't got no blood.
So, what's your stance on bloodshed being a way for us to achieve our goal as black people, standing up for ourselves? What's your point? What point of view are you coming from? Where you stand with this?
Yeah, I mean, and as Brother Malcolm is sort of like that's one of the classic speeches of Brother Malcolm, and he was breaking down the difference between the Negro Revolution and the Black Revolution. And to be quite honest with you, and I'm not, and let me preface this by saying that I'm not necessarily opposed to people doing anything, you know what I mean, that they think is possible to provide some type of justice and some sort of liberation or resolution to their problems. So, like I said, I want to preface my comments by saying that. So all the Black Lives Matter and other people who do certain activism work, I'm not against that per se, because they're doing something to try to alleviate.
Which is better than nothing.
It's better than nothing to alleviate the suffering that they are facing. But should I dare say that that is perhaps the Negro Revolution, right? Hashtags and social media posts and all of these things can be okay if there is a program after it.
Some action has to
and an agenda behind it. So that's what sort of Malcolm was trying to differentiate between inaction and action, or true, authentic revolution, which he was saying was based on land, not based on integration, not based on integrating yourself into an already oppressive system, trying to change the hearts and minds of a people who have hated you since the inception of slavery and then also the capitalism system that they used as a justification for their actions. So these are the people that we're dealing with, right? So trying to then conform into a system and getting them to like you is an obsolete objective. What we need is a black revolution. And Malcolm again was telling you that every revolution that you had in history, he said the American Revolution of 1776, right, was based on what? Land. Why did they want land? Independence. How did they carry it out? Bloodshed.
And I got the point across.
Right. So then he went into the different revolutions of the French Revolution, the Russian Revolution, the Chinese Revolution. All based on land. All had to carry it out through bloodshed. Right? He says you haven't got a revolution if you haven't got bloodshed. Then he said then you afraid to bleed. He said but you bleed for white people.
In a heartbeat.
Right?
How many of us out right now in the Navy, in all the armed forces, and back in the day, been out in the armed forces, you can't even sit with me. We can fight for our country. Oh yay, all American. But I can't even eat with you. Like we ain't you. You fighting for your country for your reasoning behind keeping it what it is. But I'm fighting for y'all while my brother getting killed at home.
Indeed. And so under the gist, a lot of them was fighting under the gist that when they come back to home, so called, that they will be free. And that was a lie, right? So And again, even when he said, going to Vietnam and fighting for, different objectives for the American government, right? You bleed for them. You sign up, and under the hope of you can, get some type of benefit from it. So you bleed for white people but when it's get time for, as he said, like your own little girls being murdered and your churches being bombed, you haven't got any bloodshed, So there's a difference.
Yeah.
If we talking about revolution, we talking about land and the ownership of land, right? Wholesale, right? That whole 40-acre and the mule thing, right? That they promised us, that whole thing.
We should have took that.
Was not provided, and at this point in our time spent in America on American soil, we have not gotten any reparations, and we have not provided even the mere sense of an apology, a formal apology for the onslaught and malicious and brutal behavior towards us by white people that fueled the whole economic system of white America.
They can't apologize yet because they're not finished.
Indeed. So that's the difference between the Negro Revolution and the Black Revolution, and we need to be clear of that, and we need to organize and strategize and prepare ourselves in order to begin buying up some property. I mean, we got the hood, the ghettos across America that we allowing foreign investors to come in and to develop in our neighborhoods, where we can take that little bit. That's revolutionary in a sense. Taking these foreign so-called people that has no real purpose and agenda for us,
They
coming in,
people in. They're not.
being business owners and store owners, and treating us poorly. Don't even really give a damn about us, but for the exploitation of our dollar. So get the poppies, get the Asians, get the Arabs, get all these people out of your community. Develop your community yourself.
Open your own little stores.
Open your own stores, and produce your own income or your own economy. And then we can begin to pull that money into a greater or broader land opportunity for our people. That's revolutionary.